The other day, I was there during a live stream, and one guy asked me, Marco, do you believe in God? I was born and raised Christian here in Italy. Everybody is raised Christian, almost. But I grew up, as everyone here, disliking the whole system of Christianity and religion. And so if you ask everyone here, 90% of the young people, they will tell you, no, I'm not religious, no, I do not believe in God. Actually, they think that if you believe in God, you must be not an intelligent being. But after my inner journey, I didn't know what to answer, actually. So I answered, well, it depends. It depends on what you mean. And that night, I really thought about it. Do I believe in God? And I noticed, what other choices do I have? Like, in the end, it all connects there in different languages, different forms, different cultures. It's the same intelligence, the same super intelligence that made everything possible. It's the source of being. It's what connects everything. Like the other day when I made the video The Cosmic Breath, if you checked it out on my channel, I talked about the origins, my opinion on the origins of the universe. And I said it, if you keep answering and answering and answering, like, what's the origin of this, and then what's the origin of that, and then what's the origin of that, and you keep going, the deeper you go, after a while, the final answer cannot be answered. Like, there's a point where you get to, okay, but why is everything moving? Like, how everything moves? Like, okay, it all comes from energy, okay, but where energy comes from and why does it move things? Because of laws, nature laws, yes, but where do they come from? Why do they move things? Why there is things? Why there is materiality? And if you have to find an answer, that answer would be God. Not in terms of a person sitting there and judging everyone and make your human life feel more empty or more full, or judge you for whatever you do or whatever. No, it's just that final answer that cannot be answered. In that terms, yes, I do believe in God. Why? Because if you think about it, you have no other choice. The other choice would be there's no answer. But even not having an answer would be the same thing of saying, so I do believe in God. So you do believe, you must believe that in all religion, all patterns, all spirituality, in the end, no matter what, they use different terms to explain that everything is united, everything is the same thing, and the only thing that makes us separated in a way is just our mind. So God would be not a separate being, but being itself. And if you learn that being itself is everything, that you also are God. So you have all these philosophers that also say, I am God, or maybe God doesn't exist. It's always the same answer. It's the same thing. That super intelligence, that question mark that makes energy possible and that moves things, it's also what moves us. It's also what creates desires. It's also the one thing that was created in the Big Bang. We are still that. Me and you is the same thing. It's all connected, and all things always say that. And if you also do a little bit of meditation, you also will learn that. That is all in search and made for union. Everything that a human being is just looking for is simply coming back to the source, which is union. And a lot of religions always say the source is God. So if you make it in that terms, yes, nature, I do believe in God, I do believe in nature, I do believe in the universe. It's always the same thing. It's always believing that, yes, we started as this thing, which maybe was the void, which maybe was energy, which maybe was, we don't know, expanded. And now union is coming back to the source. It's being God. Being God is coming back to the source. It's realizing your nature that is connected with nature. It's realizing you are nature, realizing you're the universe. Realizing, it's just realizing, it's being. The fact that you are, we as human beings, we are, that is God. And also realizing that, knowing that, being aware of that. We also have why in the Bible, for example, they say that God created us in his image. Simply because we have the gift, the capability of being aware. We are nature, the universe, God, whatever, matter, became aware of being alive, of being. And that awareness definitely had to be that thing that moved things to make them work, that created these chemical reactions, that created energy, that created those things. That intelligence, that is also the same thing, that probably is the same consciousness we are sharing with it. It's not that we are sharing it, it's the same consciousness. It's hard to understand, but once you grab it, you have all the answers. Once you read also the Yoga Sutras and the Bhagavad Gita, they say that the more you surrender to God and benefit the whole that moves all things, and is also the part of you that is conscious, the more you get closer to the divine. It's the same thing. Because if you get closer, if you get in your mind deeper and deeper, creating a personality, creating a persona, you get in your own creation and you get further from reality, from the divine, from nature. You think you're your own world. And so you start doing egoistic things, talking about you. You are your own universe. And that's where all suffering comes. But if you do an inner work, which is called yoga, yoga means union, you slowly dissolve your personality. You slowly get out of the mind, which is distance from nature, God that brings you only suffering, and get to synchronicity with the whole, which you share consciousness with. Content with the lot that was given to your brief life. The more present you are, the less you are in your own mind and in your own creation, and you are in real creation. You're closer to reality, to the whole, to nature, to the universe, to God. The more just, the more closer to the divine, to reality. We are doors to consciousness and so social beings by nature. Once we do things for the whole, then we also get always something in return. That's where the manifestation and whole thing comes. Presence, Eckhart Tolle, everything, they all talk about the same things. With all this protection, always being in our mind, in our own memory and imagination, we have forgotten we are here only in the lap of creation. And so that's why they say the more you surrender to God, the more you get closer to divine. All bad, I'm reading some notes that I've written for myself, all bad is generating by getting further from the divine nature, since the whole benefits what's good for itself, and so that we can only surrender. If you try to separate from it by creating your own reality in your own mind, with that creative power that humans received as a gift, you only get suffering. That's why it is said that God created us in his image, because we are conscious as a part of the original intelligence that moves all things. Moreover, believing only has benefits if done with reason. You can call it whatever you want, but essentially what God is that. It's just our divine nature, realizing that our own human experience is just created from within. And if you get out of the mind, you get the whole package, the whole universe, the whole being, which is God. And so we are part of that, but we just forget it because we are in our mind, which is our magical gift, but we have to learn how to use it properly from that position. And yoga, which means union in Sanskrit, is just that. It's just getting out of the mind and getting back in synchronicity with nature, with you, but not the persona, not your mind. That's why meditation, which is creating a little distance from you and your mind and your accumulation, which means something has to accumulate, which is that divine nature. You can call it whatever you want, but it's always that thing. The problem is that religions created a whole story of metaphors. They misinterpreted these metaphors of God, nature, and because it's really hard to explain properly, so you need to use some metaphors and some metaphorical things, rhetorics. And so people that didn't understand these things because they didn't make an inner journey properly, they thought literally of these things, and they created a whole separate persona that judges us. And so they pray that, and they have to behave in different ways, but it's not necessary. Once you understand that you are part of it, that you are everything, that's when you start living truly, understanding that you are the whole. And so you start acting like a mother to the world with real responsibility and not suffering, because you can only suffer in your mind once you understand that you are deeper in yourself, deeper in your mind. Like you feel alone, and that's where all suffering comes. Once you're out there, then it's really hard to suffer. You're just a part of everything. And so you act as necessary as you do. So you learn to use your tools, your inner experience as a tool, instead of sabotage yourself for your inner well-being, and so to make everything easier and better without friction. And that's what meditation and practice is about, to learn how to do this and become conscious. So it's just becoming conscious. Let me know what you think. Sorry guys, it was a hard video, but I hope I explained everything the best that I could. Thanks guys, and see you in the next videos.